If you ever get the chance to visit a coastal town in Europe or weave through the narrow alleys of Asia, you will easily come across an extremely familiar scene. Rows of clotheslines packed with blankets, sheets, and clothes, swaying gently in the sunlight. A simple rhythm of natural life. For most of us, the sun is a free gift, and the wind is a loyal friend, helping us finish the laundry. But in America, the story is completely different. Amid wide backyards and lands filled with warm sunlight, clotheslines seem to have been wiped out. Why would a country that always celebrates freedom and convenience choose to spend billions of dollars on electricity every year for machines, instead of using the endless energy from the sky? In some places, hanging a wet towel outdoors can even get you into trouble with neighbors or bring you a warning letter from the neighborhood authority. Today, we will decode the mystery behind those empty backyards, a story about wealth, prejudice, and the effort to redefine modernity. Welcome back to Everyday Things Explained. When the machine became a halo, going back in time to the early 20th century, Americans once loved sunlight just like anyone else. The clothesline was a familiar image in every household. But after the Second World War, a lifestyle earthquake swept across the United States. In 1938, the first electric dryer was introduced. But the real push came from the post-war boom of the national power grid. As the suburbs expanded and new homes were built, they came with a dream of absolute convenience. At that time, manufacturers were not just selling an electrical appliance. They were selling a ticket into the middle class. The clothes dryer was promoted as a symbol of liberation, freeing people from having to watch the clouds, rain, or dust. Owning a dryer at home was like putting on a new image. Modern, wealthy, and no longer tied to outdoor manual chores. Line drying began to be labeled as a picture of the past, of hard, difficult years. And so, clotheslines quietly retreated into the shadows, making room for the steady spinning of dryer drums inside private laundry rooms. The unwritten rules beneath the green lawn. However, the reason Americans are sometimes afraid of drying clothes outdoors does not always come from personal choice. It comes from a kind of power called the HOA, the Homeowners Association. Can you believe it? Today, about 74 million Americans, meaning nearly 30% of the population, live in areas managed by these associations. If you live in a model neighborhood, you may face pages and pages of rules. And one of the most common taboos is this: do not hang clothes in any public place where they can be seen. Why are they so strict? It all comes down to two words: image. In the eyes of many people, a clothesline exposed in the yard makes the neighborhood look messy and less upscale. They fear that if guests see personal items fluttering outside, the property value of the entire area will drop. Ironically, you may own a lawn as large as a park, but still have no right to hang a bath towel on it. Once a way of time has been framed by machines, once a way of life has been framed by machines, people gradually forget the pleasant feeling of a shirt scented by natural sunlight. The trade-off between machines and nature. Of course, the dryer has its own logic. It offers reliability, whether there is a snowstorm or drizzle outside. With just one button, the clothes will still become dry. For a culture that is always in motion, the dryer is the perfect companion. But what is the price of this convenience? Economically, the dryer is one of the most power-hungry appliances, accounting for about 5.8% of the total energy used by an American household. Every year, Americans spend hundreds of extra dollars just to do something the sun could do for free. And scientifically, we have forgotten an even greater machine. The sun's UV rays are among the most powerful natural bacteria killers. They break down chemical bonds inside bacteria and mold, helping clothes become deeply clean, without chemicals. Sunlight also works like a natural bleaching agent through photochemical oxidation, helping fabrics stay bright and white. Meanwhile, the high heat and harsh spinning of the dryer quietly wear down fabric fibers, making clothes break down faster than we realize. The journey back to sunlight and wind. But the wheel of time is beginning to turn in another direction. Today, a new generation of Americans is starting to look again. Drying clothes outdoors is no longer seen as poor or outdated. Instead, it has become a green lifestyle choice. The right to dry movement has surged, forcing many states to pass laws protecting people who want to return to the traditional way against the strict rules of HOAs. So why do Americans dry clothes outdoors, less than most of the world? Not because the sun there is less effective, but because consumer history, climate, suburban rhythms, housing design, energy prices, and ideas about social status have together created a new habit. A dryer tells a story about convenience, speed, and control. A clothesline tells a story about nature, saving, and patience. Next time, when you see shirts swaying in the sunlight, remember that it is not only about dry or wet, it is humanity's effort to hold on to a little slower rhythm inside this rushing world. And you know, in some neighborhoods, perhaps the green of the grass is still receiving more favor than the freedom of clotheslines. Thank you for joining me in finding the answer on Everyday Things Explained. Do not forget to leave your thoughts in the comments section.